less than 6 minutes, so put a little dot right there. And then they'll do that for all of the different ordered pairs for this one. So if we do another one, say red, my x value is 50, my y value is 5.99. So here, when I'm right at 50, my x is 50. My y value is pretty much 6. So that one there in red, that's going to be my other dot. And then they continue to do that for each ordered pair that you see right here. You can kind of see there is a little bit of a trend as your x values tend to get bigger, your y values tend to get bigger as well. We've got a couple random ones floating around, but it tends to go up and to the right with your dots. And that's what we're going to look at. Once we have this, we're going to see what type of shape we see when we do the actual scatter plot to see if there is an association. So scatter plots you can actually do on your TI-84 if you want to look at what the shape is going to be. These ones you shouldn't have any more than maybe a dozen points in your homework, just because it is, if there's too many of them, it kind of gets a little bit complicated. So we've got another example here we're going to do a scatter plot for, but we're just going to do it in the calculator. So we're comparing the size of a house to the selling price of the house, and you would imagine that those two are related, because if you get a bigger house, it's probably going to cost more money. So we're imagining that it's probably going to, these two are probably going to be related, and in this case, our explanatory variable, the value that we know ahead of time, is going to be your house size, because unless you're building a new house, or adding on, the size of your house is kind of set and it's already put there. You can't just choose what size you want when you're trying to sell your house. And then the selling price is what you're trying to predict how much you should actually put it on the market for. So in this case, our explanatory variable x is going to be the one that we know ahead of time. Our y value, the response variable, that's what we're trying to predict. So we'll put, this is our x, this is our y, and so we'll put, and some of you are already doing it, your x's are going to go in L1 and your y's are going to go in L2, just like when we had a frequency table. We're going to have to use L1s and L2s. These in. And then again, when you get to the bottom, just like when you're running your one-bar stats doing L1 and L2, you want to be sure that you have the same length for these ones. If they're lopsided, it's going to give you an error when you try to graph them. So just make sure they're the same length and you didn't leave anything out. Once you've done that, you're going to do the same thing that we did for the modified box plot. So we're going to go to that same screen, second y equals. I want my first plot off. 2 and 3 should be, sorry, this one should be on. My first one should be on, my 2 and 3 should be turned off. So I only want the first one on. This one's set to a box plot right now. If yours is off, just turn it on. Down here for the type, you're just going to select the first one right there, the one that has little dots floating around. Just select the one on the top right, this one right here. Or the first one if you have a newer calculator and everything's all on the same line. And then everything should be, by default, set to what it should be. So your X list, that's where you put your X's, it's in L1. Your Y list, that's where you put your Y's, those are in L2. And then you can choose different mark if you want to. I'm just going to leave it as the default. And then when you're done, just like before, we'll do zoom 9 to get our graph. And that one looks like this. So you should get a graph that looks something like that, where it's very clear that they tend to go up and to the right. Is anybody getting an error or getting a different screen when they try to graph?
I did. I got the same time.
Okay.